The advent of devolution marked the end of a centralized system of governance and paved way for transfer of power, responsibilities and resources to the 47 county governments. The devolved units are led by governors who assume office through an election. These positions were novel, and the 47 inaugural governors got into office in March 2013. Here, the governors reminisce on their journey and share their experiences during their tenures.
I felt the way the situation was, and then my exposure to other areas that are doing extremely well. Given the chance, I could do something about it, as CEO. So that motivated me to run for the position of the governor.
We found ourselves, just the two of us, the deputy governor and I, and therefore we decided to design a government structure that is a facilitative, a government structure that could enable, provision of services.
After assuming office as governors, some admit that indeed the devolved system of governance has changed their perspective of leadership and deepened their appreciation of the progress made at the grassroots level.
I came to Nairobi as a young man. I came to university many years ago and started working in Nairobi and stayed in Nairobi all my years. I never understood my community. I now understand them. I actually reached a stage when I never wanted to come to Nairobi, when I was more comfortable at home.
When I used to look at social media, maybe someone attacking me or that I have not done this or even abusing me, I used to get very mad. But right now, I have appreciated that even criticism is part of politics, and I've accepted it. And in fact, nowadays, I think most of my critics feel bad because I don't react, and they keep on abusing me, and I just look at them and I'm happy that these are my employers and I should accommodate all of them. Yeah.
Like any other new system of governance, devolution in Kenya faced some challenges. Here, governors articulate some of their personal experiences and unique challenges that they encountered in their counties. They also expound on similar challenges encountered across all the counties.
But you could see that viciousness where people feel that you are denying them accessing county money, because they used to tell me that, people in Nairobi are eating. Why are you not allowing us to eat here? The man has come here and now we should eat. So there was a time there was a shootout in the assembly when we were there, and God really protected us, but my colleagues got hurt.
Local politics also gave me a lot of headache. Those politics made me, for example, lose very, very key projects that should have been my flagship projects. Like you get a contractor on site to build for you a headquarter, a very, very nicely drawn headquarter on government lands. Then with a lot of impunity, you are told that somebody has been given the title deed for that particular land.
One of the biggest challenges, you find that the MCS also wanted these resources in their wards. They want to manage. So we had to create the Ward Development Fund, which made us spread our money so thin that we could not have big visible projects. We could only do the most basic projects in the villages.
The governors and MCAs may not read from the same script because of conflicting interests. And governors are apparently can easily face impeachment, which I faced because of competition for authority and resources.
Moreover, some of these challenges were experienced between the counties and external stakeholders, proving to be a stumbling block in implementation of development projects.
My first project was to do a 12-kilometer, 2.5-kilometer road from Embu town to Kibogo, where my current senator comes from. And it was very controversial because all the MPs were against it. They insisted it was a national government project. Any road which does not leave the county cannot be national government road.
Some businessmen and crooked fellows in this country who want to make free money, quick money, and a lot of money, decided to connive with the National Assembly and pass a legislation that makes it compulsory for counties and all public hospitals to procure all drugs and pharmaceuticals and non-pharmaceuticals from KEMSA, whether KEMSA had capacity or no capacity, whether they were able to supply or they were not able to supply.
KEMSA is very inefficient. You saw what happened with the COVID funds. We were struggling here. KEMSA was misusing the money. And we were the people who were facing the wananchi here without PPEs and so forth. So it's a very unwise decision to give KEMSA those wide powers.
So you see a water board, which is a national institution, even doing boreholes within my county. And I'm also doing boreholes in the county. You find I do a borehole here, 100 meters away, there's another borehole being done by the water board. So there's a lot of duplication in the water sector.
But just to note that the coastal counties, generally, when you adopt the new formula, each one of us shall lose roughly about 1 billion shillings. That is really, really unfair.
Disbursement of the county equitable share as well as payment of pending bills has continued to be a bottleneck in the implementation of devolution, as attested by governors who are COG chairs.
You now find a lot of effort being put to force counties to pay. Yet the national government pending bill is more than $1 trillion.
Through consistent leadership and consultation, governors have been able to solve complex situations by offering innovative solutions to local challenges.
I go and I found out 2 factions fighting in court, and I decided to resolve the matters amicably. So we take, for example, sometime even 2 weeks, sometime even a month, but finally we resolve these matters, and the matter by consent is removed out of court, and the land is subdivided, and the people get a title deed.
Serving 2 terms could not have been easy. Balancing citizen demands and resources allocation has been quite an experience for governors. Indeed, the county CEOs have demonstrated and practiced a true leadership.
I got re-elected on a second term despite a huge so-called NASA wave. Watu wa Machakos si wajinga, nimewafanyia kazi. I'll get re-elected. Wakasema hapana, you've been a good guy, but there's no you can go against the tribal wave, the NASA wave. And I've served my second term, and I NASA'd them, not because of just my looks or my talk or anything, but because of the work that I'd been able to do in Machakos.
Being a political position, governors underwent divergent political experiences, of which some have led to stagnated service delivery. But just how did these distinguished leaders balance politics and delivery of services?
And you remember, it is only Siaya where a by-election has been done for gubernatorial position. It is something that is still, I'm going to hand over to the next governor, because we had some 9 months when the governor was out, so the operations were not as it were supposed to be.
But let's also not use some of the national government agencies to distract and to settle scores that are meant to be settled politically. I consider that a bit unfair. If there is any wrongdoing, let it be done objectively. But it should not be based on the matters of political affiliation.
To promote consultation among county governments, learning and sharing of best practices, the Council of Governors was established. The council is led by a chairperson, supported by a vice chair and whip. The chair carries the collective voice of the county governments. COG works through technical committees, which are also chaired by governors. 5 pioneer governors have served as chairpersons, equally for 2 terms each.
The first term of the chair of Council of Governors and second term was volatile politics. We were fighting every day with the national government. It is fights, 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 fights. My mandate, which I was given by the governors, was to bring those fights down and to reconcile and begin a cordial negotiation. So by the time I left, I had managed that. We were now sitting on the table as equals.
If something arises, then we will discuss and make a decision. Sometimes I find I'm against what they have decided, but since they are the majority, I'll go out there on the press and say, this is what the CUG have decided, even if I'm against it. And you remember, once they told me you must close the counties because money has not been coming in for the last 4 months. So I did close. Actually, I announced that now on such a date we have closed the counties. And the Senate moved a special motion to discuss me for 3 hours. They called me all names, but I was just doing that on behalf of the Council of Governors.
Sasa anasema ya kwamba ati zahanati hospitali zetu zitafungwa. Alisikia wapi?
During my term, when we have acquired representation in a number of parastatals, which will make us more effective, it's not that. Number 2, we have improved the relationship between the Council of Governors, the governors themselves, and the national government.
Indeed, governors have been a leading light in guiding and steadying the devolution ship. The country has witnessed transformative growth in the devolved sectors, much to the joy of the citizenry. And to these pioneer governors who are completing their 2 constitutional terms, we say, Hongera.